Hey, Wellbung World Entertainment, Batman! I think they're sending up the smash for an emergency signal for Batman after the collapse of Supergirl, because we're finally getting updates regarding Batman Brave and the Bold. Now, this update is a rumour, and we're going to take it with a big grain of salt, but it also does kind of lean into, yeah, we're probably going in this direction, which is, of course, is James Gunn actually about to direct this thing? Now, of course, they hired Andy Muschietti to come in and direct it. They were talking how excited and how much they loved The Flash, and my God, how great Andy Muschietti is, what a visionary he is, and they can't wait for him to bring his own vision and take for Batman. And then James Gunn usurped them and said, well, actually, he's not going to have any creative input into the story whatsoever. He'll be the first to see a finished script, but he's not getting any actual control. Which is a very Kevin Feige thing to do. Which is essentially, we didn't hire this director, we cast the director, because that's essentially what Andy Muschietti would be at this stage. We cast you just to put your name on it, but it's not actually going to be your movie. And then, of course, the writer of this, James Gunn, was the writer for this, even though he was always saying, oh no, I got someone, and never named them. It was like, that's so strange that you would never name this supposed writer you have, because it was him. And then he admitted himself, I cannot crack Batman. So he actually hired someone to do it. Who did he hire? Christina Hodson. You're going, that name's familiar. It's because she wrote The Flash and Birds of Prey. Good God, could you have picked someone with less qualifications? Actually, you could. You could have hired the woman you just had write Supergirl, a failed actress. But this is now shifting to, it looks like James Gunn wants to take the reins fully for Brave and the Bold. At this stage, I don't think we're ever going to see a James Gunn Batman, because I don't think we're going to be seeing James Gunn for all that much longer. After Man of Tomorrow, I think they are out. And the sooner the better at this stage. Now, it's funny because we're jumping into this where they're talking about why they hired Andy Muschietti and stuff, which is hilarious. So, you'll see here. So, they were talking about, like, this was revealed, Batman Brave and the Bold, when they first announced the Gods and Monsters slate and stuff. And at the time, Gunn said this, saying, this is a story of Damian Wayne, who's Batman's actual son, that he didn't know existed for the first 8 to 10 years of his life. He was raised as a little murderer and assassin. He's my favourite Robin. We're putting it all together right now. Now, that's the other massive issue we already have with James Gunn and this DCU, is it's all the shit he loves. Oh, Tom King's version of Supergirl's my favourite, so that's the version we're doing. Oh, this obscure thing over here was my favourite, so we're doing that. Damian Wayne's my favourite Robin, so we're doing that. And it's like, dude, seriously, you're going to skip over all these other Robins just to get to Damian Wayne. And there's starting to be quite a pattern here with him. Oh, he was raised as a little murderer and an assassin. You've just had Supergirl kill. And now you want to introduce the Robin who will kill. Yeah. So, not long after we got word that the Flash director Andy Muschietti had been enlisted to helm the project. Now, this isn't the quote where James Gunn said it's the best movie he's ever seen. Not just a comic book movie, but one of the best movies he's ever seen. But this is Peter Safran and James Gunn blowing smoke up everyone's ass when they made the statement about hiring Andy Muschietti, where they said, we saw The Flash even before taking the reins at DC Studios, and we knew we were in the hands of not only a visionary director, but a massive DC fan. It's a magnificent film, fun, emotional, thrilling, and Andy's affinity and passion for these characters and this world just resonates through every frame. So, when it came time to find a director for The Brave and the Bold, there was really only one choice. Luckily, Andy said yes, Barbara signed on to produce with us, and we were on our way. They're an extraordinary team, and we couldn't have better or more inspiring partners as we embark on this thrilling new adventure in the DCU.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
You serious?
Yeah. So, by the way, Barbara is Barbara Muschietti, Andy's wife. She's always producers on his stuff. So that's where it was like Andy Muschietti is on board. But then, of course, everything started coming out where he was kind of going, Andy's not actually going to have any creative input whatsoever. Like, it wasn't just that Andy wasn't going to write the script or anything like that. It was, he's going to have no input whatsoever. He's not going to be able to say, I want to do this with Batman, or this is my idea for the story and stuff like that. No. It was, you'll get to see the script, but you're going to just direct. That's it. So, word of reels, Jordan Rumi has heard that Gunn might be considering taking the helm himself. And this, of course, is after Christina Hodgins was brought on board. So, he said this: Christina Hodgins wrote the latest draft of The Brave and the Bold, which we've heard nothing about any drafts or anything. So, that's the first time we've heard anything about that. And I keep hearing that Gunn is actually considering replacing Muschietti with himself. Yes, Gunn is apparently tempted to direct the DCU's Batman movie after helming the first two Superman films. Might as well take this ship down while you're fully at the wheel. So I like that part. It's like, well, you hit the iceberg, you may as well keep your hands on the steering wheel and go down with the ship. So, and then this thing points out that he's notorious for hating James Gunn and stuff like that. But it does kind of, everything is leaning into, why wouldn't James Gunn take the helm at this stage? Why would Andy Muschietti hang around at this stage? Andy Muschietti has also now gone back. He's doing Welcome to Derry Season 2. A lot of questions where, well, when he was doing it, Welcome to Derry Season 1, was that an indication he was no longer doing Brave and the Bold? I always said no, because James Gunn has already usurped him for creative input or anything with Brave and the Bold, and he is literally just going to be there to be a hired gun. Okay, I'll stop. But you know what I mean. So at this stage, I think Andy Muschietti's going to get a pain in his arse and just going to go, I'm not hanging around for this. Plus, he's looking at the writing on the wall as well. He must be looking at what's just happened with Supergirl, where like everybody's going, oh, the music choices, the needle drop, blah, blah, blah. It was so horrendous in Supergirl. Craig Gillespie, what were you thinking? He flat out went, that wasn't me. That was all James Gunn. He has also come out to say, like, oh yeah, James Gunn was all over this movie. And it shows. Andy Muschietti's probably seen that writing on the wall going, if I go in to direct this movie, am I just going to be under Gunn's thumb? Is it Lacey, you do this and do that and do not question me? I'm not interested in doing that. Very possibly. But, as I said, at this stage, I highly doubt we're even going to ever see a Batman in a James Gunn DCU universe, because after Man of Tomorrow, I think David Ellison and Paramount are going to go, don't let the door hit you, or the good Lord split you. But let me know what you think. Should we take this to heart that James Gunn will do it? Do you think Andy Muschietti will stay on? Do you think, more importantly, we will ever actually see this movie? Do let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all of that good stuff. You guys know the drill. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.